Hey, this is Shroud, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 189, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, November 6, 2019, the time 5:38 p.m. Central Time, a little earlier today, because guess what, boys? The Minty Hippos qualified for the playoffs, meaning I'm stuck in this godforsaken Overwatch League for like 2 or 3 more weeks. I think this is the last week of the season, and then we got to get to the playoffs, and then we're done. We're over the hill. Thank God. But we won't get bogged down on that, because this is the best episode ever. As we wrap up with e-news like we always do, stories that we just don't have time to get to. Forbes came out with an article this week, just the other day in fact, of the top 10, I believe? 12. The top 12. That's an odd number, but we'll go with it. Most valuable esports franchises, the organizations as a total. So we will look at that, go over the list, what surprises us, what doesn't. And is Twitch dying? Everyone's leaving Twitch. Where does that impact esports? How will it impact your viewing? We got you covered. We'll discuss that. But before we do, make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. You can join our Discord from our website, tcr.gg. If you listen on iTunes or anything that lets you review, we definitely appreciate anything left behind. So let us know how we're doing. Leave a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. We appreciate it. Hello, my name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up, buddy?
Hello, friend. How are you?
I'm good. You know, a little stuffy. I hear myself. I sound a little stuffy, but overall, I think I avoided con fever this time around.
You know, the reason we're doing this episode, as y'all can tell, a lot earlier than normal, just based on the time we just threw out there. But I'm feeling it, man. I came back. I feel like I got out of a car wreck. My body just hurt, for no reason.
See, I feel a little bit like sinuses and stuff. The weather doesn't help anything here, right? It's can't make up its mind if it wants to be 80 degrees or 30 degrees. It's wet. Yeah. And it's just, that doesn't help. But man, like normally DreamHack murders me. And we've gone to DreamHack how many years in a row? 4 now? At least for us.
Yeah, and every time it's like dead.
Every time, dude. I load up on vitamin C.
But that's also, we're like up all freaking night, you know?
We're up all night.
All night.
Chugging energy drinks. No one cares about the diet at that point. But
this time, Tim and I were in bed by 11 o'clock, and we were out by 11:05.
Yeah, we were adult gamers at BlizzCon, that's for sure. That is for damn sure. But no, I feel good. I feel like a little, like maybe use some tea. You know, I got water next to me. I'm good to go. But overall, I feel like I survived BlizzCon.
Let's just make it to the weekend, baby. Just
one follow-up that we forgot to mention on BlizzCon, and it was the guy that we had as a liner last week. One fun fact is, as we were leaving BlizzCon, day 2, right? Like, this was at the very end.
Yeah, so as we were going home.
You bumped in, and this is a beautiful thing about video games, I feel like, right? And especially WoW. Like, I went home and I installed WoW again, because good luck going to BlizzCon and not installing WoW again and getting suckered into that hole. But you met your guild leader.
I did. So we play on the Faralina server, and for those
WoW Classic.
WoW Classic. This is like the streamer server. So we joined it because we thought it would be fun to to be involved in the drama, go gank people that we don't like watching, and things of that sort. So I joined a streamer guild. It's good old S Fund. It's his guild. It's called Crusade. And yeah, Tim and I were like literally leaving the con,
One,
calling it a
if
night.
we went one more step, we would not have been able to turn around.
Oh yeah, he was crossing the street and we literally bumped into him. And that was a really, really cool experience because it's just like, it's one of those things, like you said. You see him, I watch him obviously. That's why I'm in his guild, as I enjoy him
You
as a
see him in the
streamer.
chat, right? You've
Yeah,
probably exchanged a word or two.
probably not, but yeah, he's at least seen my name. My name is
He knew you,
recognizable in the
right? When
guild.
you said the name, everyone in his chat was excited.
Yeah, my name is pretty recognizable in there. I'm not gonna. This is a family friendly show, so not gonna throw it out there. But yeah, like we got a liner from him. He was live streaming at the time that we ran into him, and it really is the beauty of gaming, dude, because that's a bond that's just like it's unusual, right? Like, how would that happen any other way to be able to relate to somebody? And that's kind of also the beauty of BlizzCon is being able to see people that you play with, or you're at least playing the same games, a lot of commonalities. And so that was a cool moment. We clipped it off of his stream, and I think I posted that on my Twitter if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was definitely a memorable moment. That was pretty neat.
Makes me miss the old times of WoW Classic. I mean, you're living it now, right? But when like I actually played WoW Classic when it was just known
Original.
as when
When
it
it was
was
just
just
WoW.
WoW, right? That's all you
Yeah.
knew, and I actually had time to play, and I don't live in China, so I could play more than 90 minutes a day back in school. And it's like your guild mates were kind of your buddies. Like those are the guys that you spent a lot of time with. I was pretty jealous. Like I felt like I was like, damn, I kind of wanted to be included. Like it was just neat, right? It's neat getting to meet
Yeah.
people
No, it
that you
was, and it's
play with.
funny. You said, you come back from the con and all you want to do is install WoW, and man, I'm like just so thrilled with WoW Classic the way it is. It does, like you said, it brings back so many of those good memories that we had from growing up, and it makes me want to continue playing more than anything, right? Like I'm not ready to stop. Phase 2 is right around the corner, so definitely enjoying it, and moments like that make it even more memorable. So
And
it's been
speaking
good for us.
of memorable moments, Anuj, the landscape of creating memories is changing as we know it, because before, where did you go to watch games? Twitch. And that was it. That was the one option we had. It was nice, right? People can make their arguments now, but 3 or 4 years ago, no one would have had any complaints. Well, now we're seeing it. We saw the first domino fall with Ninja being bought out by Mixer, moving over to Mixer. And then we saw Shroud just the other week or so. And originally, we weren't really going to talk about this, right? Like, okay, Shroud, Gothaline, whatever the hell that guy's name is, right? We're seeing more Mixer or more streamers being persuaded by Mixer to move over, whether that's for a fat stack of cash or whatnot. And then just recently, I think like yesterday or 2 days ago, we
Yeah.
saw Courage get bought out. Not by Mixer, though. A new challenger has entered the arena as he switches over to YouTube gaming.
That's a smart move. I really like that move. I mean, because he has like what 2 million followers on YouTube. It's not like he
Look, I'm surprised a lot of these guys. I'm surprised YouTube is not as popular for that reason.
YouTube's UI to me is a mess. I don't like going to
Well,
it.
good luck finding him when he's live, right? Like,
Yeah, like
there's no,
that's the
unless you
thing.
follow him already, I don't know where to even look for live streamers.
For me, a lot of the reason, even now, why I continue just to use Twitch for the most part is it's easy. I get on, I have
You're
my list
familiar
of
with it.
subs or whoever I'm like, following on there. It's very easy for me to navigate. I don't feel the same way about YouTube.
No.
Mixer, I think, is like getting there. They're all about the creator, right? Not necessarily about the game. Like on the Twitch page or Twitch's page, you go to it, and when you sort it, it sorts it by popular games, right? How many people are watching
Right.
Counter Strike? How many are watching Overwatch? And then based on that, I go find my creator that I want to streamer that I want to watch. Mixer is kind of the opposite, right? Like you go onto their front page and it's all the creators. Here are the creators. Now go pick them, regardless of what they're watching. You just click on them and go watch them. So a little different take on it. The ninja move didn't affect me at all, in the sense of it didn't change my daily watching habits. I watch a lot of streamers and no reason. It's not that I don't like Ninja. I think what Ninja's done for the scene is absolutely incredible. It's just I'm not a big Fortnite guy in terms of watching streams. I'll play it from time to time. Don't really care to watch it a whole lot. So Ninja's move didn't affect me. Shroud's move, it's like I sent my kid off to college. Like I'm still gonna see him. It's just
Just
like
not as
not as
much.
often. And so that one was the big one to me. And Ninja moving big, huge, right, for Mixer. Now tacking on other streamers, high profile streamers, is only the logical next step for him. But Shroud was it kind of caught me off guard, and so did Ninja,
Yeah.
obviously, but I
Ninja,
didn't anticipate the next move being Shroud. Ninja's was
right.
shocking because it was the first. Shroud, we thought other people would follow. I just never thought it would be him.
Yeah, and it's still weird, like, on where I'm at with that. Like, ultimately, it doesn't matter to me, right? Like, if I like Shroud, so it shouldn't matter if he was on Twitch or Mixer. Like, it makes no difference from a quality of life standpoint on that. But when it comes to, and we've talked about this, like, with esports, like when ESL moved over to Facebook, we have Facebook. There's really no reason why we couldn't have just gone to Facebook to watch it. The issue is that it is so, like, I think the esports or just the gaming watching experience for a lot of people is out of sight, out of mind. Like, if you don't see that streamer
Yeah.
on, you're just not even going to think about it, right? Like,
Y-
like for me, I just out of habit, I go to Twitch. I see who's on Twitch. Like, if I'm just doing, for example, I edited our BlizzCon video. By the way, go check it out. YouTube.com/The Center Ring. I posted up our little BlizzCon montage from when we were out there. So as I'm editing that, I want to watch some streamers. So I go to Twitch. That's where I'll go. I'm like, damn, no one I really watch is on. Well, I guess I'll watch some random person on Hearthstone then. It didn't even cross my mind, Anuj, to think,
Let me go to Mixer.
oh, maybe Shroud is streaming on Mixer. Didn't
Have you
even
watched him
cross
on
my
Mixer
mind.
yet?
No, I haven't, because it doesn't muscle memory. Like, I have Twitch is saved on, like, my Chrome's front page. I just click it. It's easy. I don't have to worry about it. Now, there are services out there like juked.gg that just released to the public today. That's a little different than Mixer and Twitch because that's like grouping up all of your esports outlets, right? It's not your
Nothing
streamers.
to do with streamers, but yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Like esports, and this is why it's interesting, right? Because this could affect esports in the long run, because it just means one of these websites, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, whatever, they're gonna sign exclusive rights to some of these esports. That's
We've seen
the
it.
next
We saw
step.
it with ECS, right? Like ECS went to YouTube for a while there, and I don't know if they're still on YouTube or maybe
I think they do
broadcasting
both.
on both.
They do
But it
both.
was exclusive to YouTube for a
Right.
while there for Counter Strike, and we mentioned at that time.
The
Look at
numbers
the numbers,
suffered.
man. The numbers were terrible. Look at Facebook. They signed this exclusive deal with ESL for basically non-major tournaments, and it suffered, and they had to go back on it. So if these other companies are going to step in and play a role in this, I think they got to find a way to just make it convenient. It doesn't feel convenient. Everything on Twitch to me is convenient. Part of that could be, like you said, I'm just used to using
Yeah.
it. But even now, I go to YouTube, and I'm just going to do this while I'm on here. How the hell do I find streamers on here?
Let's
Where
do
do I
this. Let's
even
do this
go?
live on the Center Ring. We are trying to find streamers on YouTube. I'm logged
Tell
in,
me.
Anuj. I see on the left, home, trending, subscriptions, library. What if I click this thing here on the left to open and expand?
And mine
More
shows
from,
me if I click expand, it shows Counter Strike and Monster Cat.
so I scroll down, I see more from YouTube. I see gaming and live. I thought those were the same thing.
I thought YouTube gaming had died.
So does that just mean gaming videos? It's not YouTube gaming. It's just youtube.com/gaming is what it's telling me. So yes, that's literally all it is. But these are also live.
I hit gaming, and we popped up.
Did we really?
Yeah,
And
and then
see,
Shroud was the next one
and
that
that
popped
to
up.
me is why YouTube is the dominant platform. Right there.
100%.
It
I'm a
YouTube
YouTube
puts
fan now.
the best content right on the homepage. When you click on gaming, you get the best content. Hands down, YouTube, best platform in the world. Love it.
I'm
love
having a
it.
hard time right now, Tim. Oh, I guess here's some live now gaming. Again, this sucks. I'm looking at this. This bothers me. I will never go here to watch content outside of my normal YouTube content. I use YouTube for a million other things, right? So it's not
Yeah.
a knock on YouTube as a whole. This to me is straight trash. Looking up how to find a streamer that I'm interested in. I guess you could search the name on top, but like I like to see multiple people, right? I'm not only going to one place to only watch Shroud or to only watch Courage. I kind of like to move around, right? I like to see what other streamers are doing. I don't only
Just
have
dip
to
your
watch
toe in.
somebody that's yeah, like just let me check it out, right? Um this to me is not convenient. And I'm glad we just did this live on air because I can confirm it does suck. Again, I think where this leads to though, um, is what does this do to the ecosystem, right? We're starting to see these splits now because now we're going to see more. I think. I think we're going to see more. But what does this do to the ecosystem? Do you think this will have a largely negative impact on Twitch? And on the flip side, do you think this is a huge boost for a company like Mixer and YouTube?
Can I be can I take the coward's way out and say a little bit of both? Like
Yeah,
I I think it I think it does more of a pride thing for Twitch, right? Like it probably hurts their pride more than anything because the issue is with with Twitch, the eyeballs have to go somewhere, right? Like for example, I'm on Mixer right now and Ninja is streaming with let's see, 16,488 viewers for Ninja. Now on Twitch, and he's playing Fortnite, this would easily be a 40,000 plus stream, right? So not everyone carried over to Mixer to go watch exclusively Ninja's stream.
and this is a tournament going on. He's got 16,000, right?
Yeah.
They're in the 2v2 code red.
That's easily a 40K stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, it's a pride thing for Twitch. Twitch is seeing the memes being made about them and all that, and it sucks because, their girlfriend Ninja left them for another man. But you know what? Twitch is still pretty hot. Like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be okay for Twitch. I think where this helps Mixer is obviously just putting them in the spotlight, right? Like
Of
they're getting a
course.
lot of publicity right
Of
now.
course, because a lot of
Where I
people are going
think,
over.
yeah, well, we say a lot. Right now, it's three big ones, right? Those are the three big ones that everybody
But
at
I
least.
think of the viewers, right? A lot of the viewers are going over because before Mixer was a joke, right? Like literally, like people would make a joke about Mixer.
Well-
Now, people see that, oh, because before it was kind of just Microsoft's thing, and if you own an Xbox One, that's what you used because it was built in. Now it's being viewed as a serious platform for streamers and content creators to go to. And also, Twitch has kind of been in the negative light for some time now. So I
they've
think it's just
constantly made bad decisions.
it's a
and how
breath
they've
of fresh
handled-
air.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I'm not 100% sold on the way Mixer is doing this. I do like what they're doing. Here's how I would change it. Right now they're pulling one streamer at a time, right? So you pull Ninja over and let's say you bring 20 to 50,000 viewers roughly come with Ninja on a consistent basis. Let's just say that's the number, right? Even though
Right.
it's at 16.5 right now. Well, once those people are kind of done watching Ninja, I really don't think, and let's do it just for the Ninja move, okay? Take Shroud out of the equation. So pre-Shroud coming to Mixer. Once they were done watching Ninja stream, I really feel like most of those people then went back to Twitch to find another streamer. I don't think
100%.
they started browsing on Mixer to find, oh, who's the other streamer for me to watch? Because still, majority of the popular streamers are on Mixer, um, especially in the
Twitch.
game that Ninja plays on Twitch. I'm sorry, most of the majority of the popular streamers are still on Twitch. Ninja is a Fortnite streamer. Again, most of the big Fortnite streamers are on Twitch. So then they bring Shroud over. Now Shroud's going to bring another 15 to 50,000. Let's just again give that same kind of range. Um, Probably not a ton of crossover in terms of people that watch Shroud and the people that watch Ninja. I'm sure there's some, but it's definitely not all. My issue here is the way that they're doing this. They're staggering these moves one at a time. Now I know Goliathan, or again, I'm butchering his name probably. Goliathan is what I'm going to call him for now. Made the move also. I think they should have bought like 7 or 8 large streamers and move them at one time. So then you start migrating people over. Oh, if I'm not going to watch Ninja, I'm going to watch Shroud. If I'm not going to watch Shroud, I'm going to watch Myth. If I'm not going to watch Myth, it's going to be somebody else, right? And so staggering them one at a time, I think is the bigger issue. I like what they're doing, but this is not about the quick money for them, right? They're going to lose money in
Oh,
the
yeah,
deal
of
initially,
course.
right? They're paying oodles of money to bring them over. They should just take the hit initially, throw the money out there rather than being like, let's see how this goes and bring one over. Is it doing well? Okay, now let's bring a second over. How is it going? Now let's bring a third over. I think that's the wrong approach. I think the better approach would have been, let me bring a handful of these content creators over, throw them on our platform, and give people options. I still feel like I lack options um, on Mixer. And then the second half of it is what you mentioned earlier, is the fact that they don't have any exclusive rights to any of the large tournament organizers. So most of my Twitch
They
watching
have
still,
Smite
okay, so
and Paladins, I believe.
let's pretend like we're going to take that out of the show. Go ahead and cut that 10 seconds that we just had there off of the show. We're an esports show, Tim. And so for them to not have any exclusive
all of
rights,
all 12 players of Paladins are really upset with you right now.
yeah, really, really bothered. They're probably sitting there with Hearthstone getting mad at us right now. I just think that that's an issue. I don't think you keep people within your ecosystem of Mixer without either having some exclusive rights or bringing on a handful of more, handful of streamers that will really bring over an audience consistently to you. So I like the idea of, hey, let's pay these guys big. They're not going to be worried about how many. You think Shroud gives two craps about how many people are watching his stream on Mixer? No, he got the money up front. Like that was the purpose for the move for
Yeah.
him. Mixer's agenda is different. I just don't like their approach and how they did it. So for me, it's a win to get these kinds of names over there. Ultimately, I don't see it completely being like, okay, I'm done with Twitch. I'm going to Mixer now. Like I
I
just
think
don't see that being the case.
the other seed that I think they are hoping is planted and prospers is that when people are looking for platforms to stream on, they'll go to Mixer over Twitch. And they'll get the new streamer involved. Because like right now, I'm looking at Mixer, dude. Like we said, Fortnite was streaming. Right now on Mixer, Fortnite, in total, the game as a whole has 23,400 viewers.
17 or with the one.
Yeah, 17 is with Ninja. I mean, that's a stream. That's one streamer at Twitch, right? So that's why I said, like, is this hurting Twitch? People, and you know what's funny is, like, people are saying that. People are like, dude, Twitch better watch out. Twitch better be scared. Do you think Twitch is scared? Because right now, Fortnite on Mixer is pulling 24,000. And that's rounding up, being generous with that number. Like, no, Twitch isn't scared at all. Twitch is still the dominant factor. Like I said, where this can hurt them, who's next, right? Who knows? Maybe Mixer is planning on doing a widespread 20, because you don't
Who's the
have to.
biggest person in your mind that if they took would be like the next biggest name, right? Because I think in most people's minds, it is Ninja 1, Shroud 2, right? As the
Yeah.
top two streamers currently in the game. Who's 3? Who's 4? Like, who are the next couple of names that you like? Okay, if they took these 2 or 3 people, now we're starting to roll here.
Well, apart from my personal preference, I think the one thing they have to look at are their game categories, right? To pull from. League of Legends, what are the top games on Twitch? League of Legends, Dota, Fortnite, which I mean that's going to be across the board. Counter-Strike. Right now, I'm just scrolling through. Hearthstone at the moment has 141 viewers. World of Warcraft, 131 viewers.
Call of Duty is brand new. It's got 4,000 viewers right now.
Counter-Strike, 85 viewers. These top games that are what is making Twitch relevant right now. League of Legends, I don't even see it on this list.
Oh, there it is. 138.
God, that is the community that you want to bring over. You were stating like you don't think anyone's like when Ninja gets off, they're not looking there. Well, of course not, because who the hell are they looking at? They're going Ninja, 17,000 viewers, and the next drop off is a dude with 1,000. Like, that's insane of that type of drop off. It just shows you the retention rate is so slow. So I think, honestly, and it wouldn't be anyone I know because I don't watch Dota or League of Legends streamers, but I think that would be the community that you would want to aim for. Me personally, I think like if they go after, and I don't think any of the people I watch would, but like Summit, Lyric
would be huge. You get the variety streamers, right? That are going to touch on 6 or 7 different games. Let's say 10 different games throughout the year, right? Like somebody like Summit will probably play between 7 to 10 games throughout the year and willing to try old
Sea of Thieves, which is a Microsoft game. Like they would love that.
Grand Theft Auto RP, like that type of stuff. I agree. I thought about this other day and I was making a list in my head, and Summit was definitely one of the 3 that I was thinking of. But I was thinking if you could pull Summit, pull Doc, and pull Tifu, you get those 3 people. Now we're talking. Now you're bringing over another 100,000 plus viewers, where these guys stream enough at kind of different times to keep it relative. I think Ninja,
Lyric would also be a huge streamer, variety streamer, like you mentioned. He would also be one. And the thing with that too is like Lyric, Summit, and even Doc, right? They weren't anything before Twitch. Ninja was a professional. A lot of people don't know this, but Ninja was a professional Halo player. Like he was involved.
Doc was the 93-94 blockbuster 2-time champion.
Sorry, so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect.
Created Twitch in my mind. So
didn't mean to disrespect him. My apologies. But Shroud, like he was, my God, go watch Shroud when he was a professional Counter-Strike player for Cloud9 and watch. It was a joke on how he didn't have a personality, and then he retired and kind of learned to have one. But still,
what was bigger for Shroud, Twitch or Cloud9?
Well, I think Cloud9.
Yeah.
Yeah, like without Cloud9, then he wouldn't be.
Well, let's say he had joined Liquid or something. Like I think Cloud9 was he joined Cloud9 at a time where Cloud9 was really.
Cloud9 is fanboys, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm living proof that I would never hear your name before, but if I see you're in Cloud9, like. Hell yeah, buddy. I'll follow you. Why not? So, yeah, definitely. For Shroud, I think it's Cloud9 and then Twitch. But the thing with Lyric and Dr. Disrespect and Summit and everything, like, that is what made them was Twitch. Like, they were just gamers that streamed and then built a following up that way. I don't know if they would switch over to Mixer just because they also don't seem like the people that would really... Like... It almost seems like too much work for Summit to do that. Like, I think Summit just wants to get on and play games and not worry about it, right? Same thing with Lyric. I don't think so. But again, I don't know the type of cash Mixer is walking up to these guys with. So never say never.
What do you think your guess would be for how much they're paying somebody like Shroud or Ninja to make a move?
I would say 10 plus.
Oh, easy. Easy 10 plus.
Is that
Yeah, I
low?
mean, not that.
Is that
No,
probably a low?
I think 10 might be a little low. I think the plus is pretty important in that statement. I think Shroud is probably pulling in $5 to $10 million a year on his own. You know, um, with what he was getting prior to this deal.
You know,
So
the
I
dangerous
think
thing with this too, like Mixer is really going all in on this because if it doesn't work out, like Shroud and Ninja have nothing to lose out of this deal.
no,
Absolutely nothing. If
they go
Mixer
straight back.
crashes tomorrow, they go back to Twitch, double their viewership.
Or call YouTube and be like, "Hey, you want to try
What do
this?
you
Like,
want?
how
I'm a
much?"
free agent now. What do you want to do? So
You know,
I
another
think
thing
it's
that
gonna
I'm
be
curious
huge.
about is like if they have to stream a certain amount as part of this deal, right? Because me
Definitely,
looking at it,
100%, 100%.
like it has to be X number of hours a month, a week. I'm kind of curious how that's set up because in my mind, these guys are making the move so they don't have to stream as much as they're required to on Twitch in order to generate their revenue. Um, but I'm sure that's got to play a pretty big part in the deal is how much they have to stream because Ninja doesn't stream nearly as much as he used to. He was on like 5 days a week. Now he still streams quite a bit, but there's also a lot of time off with other appearances and stuff that they have to make. So it's the guaranteed money that gets these guys
Right.
to make this move. So kind of curious, but yeah, you're right. I think um, they do need to bring in some variety streamers. They need to bring in people that touch on other games. Because it is pretty abysmal looking at. I mean, I'm just going through now. You got me hooked on this because I'm going through all the numbers here, and it
Look at the
kind
games that
of
are like,
blows my mind that
yeah.
we should probably be streaming on.
So here's the thing though too, and this is just
Like,
this is my mini rant on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, and I understand all of this is for gamers, right? Well, we're a gaming podcast, Anuj. We talk esports, right? And gaming esports culture. They do have like a web show and a talk show and all that, but they do such a poor job of trying to promote anything outside of your standard streamer
yeah,
that's why as a new streamer, like even though yeah, you're right, there's not nearly as many people streaming on Mixer. So your logic is less competition. I should stream on Mixer because it would make me look better, or chances are 100 viewers on Mixer is like 10,000 on Twitch, right?
yeah.
But at the same time, who's
There's
going there
less
to look
traffic.
for a web show?
Yeah, your casual traffic is not there, right? So you're gonna miss out on those types of people. I actually don't even see a talk show thing on here.
Like
So
hypothetically, Anuj, if a podcast went live at BlizzCon, not knowing that they weren't allowed to go live. I don't want to say it's an illegal stream at BlizzCon, but hypothetically, I know a friend who was streaming at BlizzCon when he wasn't supposed to. Within minutes, they were at 400 views on Twitch. Do you think that
literally
would happen
minutes.
on Mixer?
Probably be at 40.
If that. I doubt even that. No one's going to Mixer. That's the thing. No one goes to Mixer just to browse. No one's going to
Yeah.
Mixer to window shop. You're
So
going to Twitch to do that.
You're going to Mixer to watch Shroud. You're going to
And the
Mixer to
plus
watch
side there
Ninja.
with YouTube that I think almost does better than Mixer is obviously YouTube has the fan base already built up from just a video creating standpoint. So that is the weird thing about
YouTube,
Mixer.
To me, has the formula to do really well because they do have the casual traffic, right? YouTube's casual traffic is probably blows Twitch. I mean, Twitch would probably be minuscule in terms
Yeah.
of just casual people going to YouTube to watch whatever video they're going to watch. My problem with YouTube is they just don't know how to promote their gamers,
Right.
or promote their streamers.
Anything.
I should say,
right?
yeah, anything. Like there should be something on here that says, "Hey, I like to watch streamers." So maybe on my homepage, instead of giving me recommended the truth behind
10,000
Shroud's
recommendations of
like,
Markiplier, which I have watched once in my life, and every time I have to say, not interested, YouTube. Really don't care about this person.
I looked up one thing on Fiverr. Now it's like all over my page. But at the same time, they should know that, oh, Anuj watches a ton of gaming videos on here. Maybe we should promote to him some of our streamers that play some of the games that he likes and throw that on his recommended page. that's the issue that YouTube for me has right now. So I do think YouTube can fix it and be bigger ultimately than Mixer would ever be, or will ever be, but they're just not. Something's missing. Like something's just
Yeah.
missing for me when
Though
it comes to
YouTube does have
YouTube
the best
gaming.
video player.
Well, yeah, I love being able to rewind. When
Pause. I feel like the
ECS was
quality
on,
is better.
well, when ECS was on there, and I'm watching a Counter Strike match, I need to leave the room for a minute. It's a beautiful thing to be able to pause for a moment and come back and pick up right where I left off.
Or that
Like
skip
I said,
ahead in a break or something later on.
yeah, catch up, or it's an eco round, just move on, right? And so again, I think YouTube has a better formula to be successful if they get their stuff together and understand how to promote their streamers. Again, these are all money moves that we're seeing right now, but if they're really trying to grow the ecosystem, there's got to be some other changes to compete with Twitch, because right now Twitch to me is just so far and above number one. Um, I just don't do any casual browsing on anything else for me. And like I watch a lot of streams. Like I don't feel like
Yeah.
I am on the
Like I
lower
said,
end of the casual viewer,
apart from esports viewing ship, which I pretty much will either do now on Twitch or Juked, because Juked is just like I said, it's just that's what they do is they pull streams from all these other esports tournaments and put it on their website. So it's just a no-brainer to go there. But for like the casual viewership, for me, like I said, I like talk shows, I like podcasts. It's what I do. I would like for an easy way to go find those, right? That seems like a market out there that YouTube or some of these guys could be pushing a little more. Um, it's just it's weird to me to bring this back to esports, is that all we hear about is how esports is this $1 billion industry, Anuj. Like, if you're not investing in esports, what are you doing? Like, this thing's gonna blow up. It's the future. And yet none of these websites, none of them, even Twitch does not have just an esports section, right? Somewhere that we could throw our show in, like market under. Like, would we go live? Streamlabs OBS and like Twitch lets you like select categories or like tag your thing in, and the tags are a joke. Like, you can't even tag it with esports because Twitch doesn't have that as a tag.
And
Like,
if you did tag it, where the hell do people like? Do you just
yeah, do I
search the
just
tag?
search esports? But that's looking up users on Twitch. So that's my thing. Is like, there's ways that these guys could. This is like Twitch, Mixer, YouTube. This is all free advice to you. Like, find a way to market this $1 billion industry that we keep hearing about, and like realize that there is like a community to back it up. But
All the biggest streamers are involved in esports, so it would make
right,
only sense to like do it, right? Like even Ninja and Shroud, who are not actively competing, they
have the
grew
background though.
through the esports
Like I said,
community. Look
it's
at all the
very
TSM streamers. Like all these guys have an esports root. Like that's where they came from.
Lyric, Summit. These guys are all, well, even Summit though did compete. Now he wasn't
Summit was
popular because
Counter-Strike.
of his Counter-Strike pro days, but he was a former pro. But all these guys, like, it's very, very rare now that you just have someone who is a top 10 streamer that literally was just a streamer with no competitive background behind it. People,
Yeah.
as entertaining as some of these guys are, I think at the end of the day, your casual viewer still wants to watch one of the best at the game.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
There's ve-
LeBron, doesn't have to be Michael Jordan, but I want to watch someone who I know. I'm not going to go to Counter-Strike unless you're just hilarious. I'm not watching your Silver Elite stream. Like,
I'd rather just go play my own game at that point.
exactly. Like, not
Yeah.
you could be really entertaining. Not going to happen though, because at the same time, like I said, at the end of the day, people still want to watch someone that they could say this guy is pretty damn good at the game.
No, I 100% agree. I do think that there is still an opportunity for all of these sites to
Yeah.
grow.
I don't
And
think Twitch is, Twitch is wearing the crown. I don't think it's a permanent crown. There's opportunities to overlap them. The issue, though, it's going to take more than 2 streamers or 3 streamers leaving their platform. So,
yeah, I would like to see a wave move over, and
yep.
then that interests me a little bit more. Because again, I haven't. I watched Shroud on his debut Mixer stream. Haven't watched him since. I watched Shroud
Every day.
a lot, like a lot. If he was playing any game that was an FPS, and including World of Warcraft, I turned him on. I'm still on Twitch.
Yeah, not moving
I don't
over.
know. Yeah.
I will also say this too. Just a side note from all this, right? Courage went over to YouTube and everything. Was there ever a more esports personality that your mind changed about than Courage?
Well, he went from, in my mind, being an amazing caster. I thought he was great calling Call of Duty,
Like a
right?
beacon of Call of Duty to just really being an annoying human being.
He went to like this 12 to 15-year-old kind of like that almost felt like it was his focus, and that's who he was relating to. Every time he made a play, he yelled as if he was almost
Oh my
casting a
God.
match, you know?
The
So yeah, I
whole
mean,
time.
I'm not interested in, he's great at what he does. He's very, very good
Hey,
at
I'm not
it.
knocking it. I'm not knocking him for doing it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I have no interest in what he does because it just doesn't. It's not my. I'm more of a laid back, relaxed kind of streamer person. I would have to turn my volume down to about 10% if I'm going to listen to Courage play a game. He's just a little too much for me.
I'll turn mine down to 0. All right. So there's that. I don't really know if we solved anything here other than the fact that I would really like to because like I said, Twitch has been kind of in the negative media for a little bit. I wonder if any of our listeners like just don't go onto it. Like, have you met anyone who's like, dude, I love watching streamers, but I don't go on Twitch. I just go Mixer. Mixer or YouTube. That's all I do. So I wonder if there is any out there, if any of our listeners like primarily go, like when you are looking for streaming entertainment, because this will also help us, because right now we use Restream to stream on Twitter. That's only because it will show us live on your Twitter feed, and I like that feature. But not like from a serious standpoint. It's just so people know we're live. Twitch, for the obvious reasons that we all just stated, that it's still the best one. And then we also stream on YouTube because it's easier just to upload it straight from YouTube. So I am curious to hear from our listeners as far as like a streaming platform. If we ever had to pick one streaming platform from a listener standpoint, what would you want it to be on to see something live? Now, obviously, we'd always put our videos up on YouTube, but I'm just curious from a research standpoint, what would be worth your while to go to watch the show or any other streamer that you might watch. So there's that. But to also make it worth your while, you can go to Thrive Fantasy for your daily fantasy sports app for prop bets. When you sign up, use the code TCR. That will get you an instant $10 match on your first $10 deposit. That is free money. You gamble responsibly. You gamble smart. You don't listen to people when they tell you Invictus is going to make the finals at Worlds, and you win some cash. How easy is that? That is Thrive Fantasy TCR at sign up. All right, so we're talking about money. That's kind of the theme right now, right? Mixer's buying people up. YouTube is buying. YouTube did buy Courage, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, he wasn't just going there because he's like, I got like 2 million subscribers. What do I do?
No,
They bought him.
paid a ton of money for him.
All right, so now YouTube, one effect too, and then we'll end it. I think the other thing too is like these guys can now use Shroud and Ninja and all them in advertising, right? Like that will also help them. But
yeah,
people spending money left and right. So let's keep with that theme because Forbes, we all are familiar with them, wrote an article just the other day about the 12 most valuable esports organizations, not just franchise. So this is the parent company behind franchises as well. For example, NRG owning Chicago and the San Francisco Shock, right? It's not the Shock is a separate entity. It's NRG is what they're looking at here. So some of these are surprising. Some of them I never heard of. So, Anuj, entertain me, if you will, Like I said, this is the top 12 for whatever reason. Who do you think? I'll give you number 1 if you want.
Number one, I think most people would be able to guess. I mean, Cloud9.
Cloud9 is your number 1, but now they're tied for number 1. The second number 1 spot is what surprises me, and that's TSM.
Yeah, with only one franchise team. Like that's pretty surprising because I think a lot of the valuation comes from what franchise spots you own, right? Because there's a lot of money tied to those particular
Yeah.
spots. In some cases, 20, $30 million tied to the spot. They are only what are they only in LCS, right? Like that's it. I think they have other non-franchise
Yeah, I mean,
teams,
they
right? Like
have
PUBG,
Smash
Fortnite.
players and things like that, but
They have a lot of the largest Fortnite streamers, tied to them with Myth and Daquan and Hamels and things like that. But yeah, like that one caught me off guard. Like, they show it's funny because now I'm pulling up this article and you see the estimated revenue that's generated on an annual basis. That number's good. I mean, I'm sure, it's a satisfying number.
35 million, I'll take it.
Yeah, 35 million estimated revenue, but the valuation being at 400 million, it's pretty staggering. Like to me, I see this and I get worried for future investors because these top dogs here that you see, let's just say the top 12 that we're looking at here, are getting a majority of the capital, right? There are other people that are
Yeah,
outside
it's
of this list
very
that are,
top heavy.
yeah, there's other people outside of this list that are probably getting incredibly good capital, like Astralis and things.
The other crazy thing too is, like, you want to talk about the bubble. Do you see this changes from 2018, change from last year? Cloud9 is now estimated to be worth $400 million. Change from 2019? No, that I'm saying this out loud. It says 90 million. Is that
It
saying
went up. It went up 90
up
million.
90 million? Okay.
Yeah,
See, I
yeah.
said
So
that out
this is
loud, and then now it's not as shocking to me, but still 90
yeah,
million.
yeah.
I thought they were
No,
saying
it's
last
a
year it was
25%
90.
increase in their valuation year over year. You're
Pretty
not going to
good.
see that type of growth. Like you can't sustain that type of growth.
No
So
way.
that's another problem, right? Like, are we peaking? I don't think we're going to see Cloud9 in the next 3 years become a billion-dollar entity. I don't think so. I might be wrong here. I'm not the guru when it comes to
Well,
this stuff.
they're going to save money by not paying their CSGO players here in a little bit when they get bought out. But we
No,
won't get to that.
you're right. Again, I'm just more worried for future investors because right now there is a lot of money being tossed around here. And I don't think that we're seeing a lot of positive revenue come from these franchising spots. I think Overwatch is a prime example. I would be curious to see how much a team like Envy is really profiting from just the Overwatch League itself, right? Like the revenue sharing and all that tied into
Yeah.
Overwatch League. What is that number? Now, I know you then have to look at, well, the merch that's being sold directly through Team Envious,
And
for
what's like
Overwatch League.
the profit sharing from sponsors in the league, like that all probably gets divvied up evenly or however they do it. Like, I, and we always see articles too, like just speaking of the Overwatch League, where it's like no one was expecting to turn profit the first year and whatnot. But looking at number 3, you have Team Liquid at 320 million. Now this is a giant leap from last year. $120 million increase from last year.
And you think that's coming? I mean, for them, we know their Counter Strike team has taken the next step up, but they were always kind of a pretty good Counter Strike team. Their LCS team has been in now what, like a couple of finals for Worlds over the.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
say
Liquid's
finals,
had a very successful 2019. They're, international, right? Dota's been very successful on that realm. You've mentioned it, their Counter-Strike team. They've also, though, partnered with Marvel, right? Alienware, they've built the new facility out there. Like, Liquid has been a very busy but also successful team. Hell, HBox has something going on with Jersey Mike's, I believe. Like, they just have they're partnering up on the corporate level, seems
Well,
a
that's what
little
it is
bit
through
more than
brand
others.
investments, right? Like
Right.
majority of this money is coming through the revenue is coming from like brand investments. So you think your Toyota, State Farms, Coca-Cola, things of that sort. These people are the ones that are pumping a ton of money into this. Again, not I'm not saying that I think it's like a terrible investment or that you're not going to continue to see growth. I just think the growth is going to slow significantly. I'm actually, for me, I think the best investments are the ones that also have like a merch tied to it. Like a lot of their money is coming from merchandising, right?
Well, I
You
think that's
think
where you
of
see, speaking of a
FaZe,
huge number 4, FaZe, 240 million. That is a perfect example where I think you
no
probably,
franchise spots, okay,
right?
for FaZe. Um,
You probably have
really,
people. I bet you there are more people out there who probably recognize FaZe as a brand before they recognize them as a gaming org.
well, tell me, Tim, who are their biggest teams that you recognize outside of CS:GO?
Well, they're Call of Duty,
Yeah. Which they don't have a franchise spot there, although they are partnered up with Atlanta, but
right?
they don't own that spot. So,
Right, right.
you know,
I mean, that's really it, right? They had some Fortnite streamers, but Tifu's no longer there, obvious for obvious reasons.
Jarvis is no longer there. We'll get into that later.
Jarvis is no longer there.
Rainbow
Uh,
Six, they have a team. PUBG, they have a team, and I don't know
but
which
even
one. I
then,
think
like they're not like up front, right? They're not like
they're not
world
leaders
best.
in that
Like in
game. Yeah,
Call of
for
Duty,
sure.
they were a recognized brand, right? They were a leading fan base in that. So yeah, I mean, really,
It's merchandising for them. Merchandising, content creation, like that's what FaZe does really, really well. And that's fairly sustainable, even if you have like one or two really good teams, because people want to live the lifestyle of what FaZe is living. That's what's appealing for FaZe, right? Like you
oh
watch their
please,
YouTube videos,
please
they're
don't.
on. I mean, but there is a.
I
It's
know,
really
I
appealing,
know.
right? Like you're a
It
16,
is. It's
15-year-old
appealing. It's
kid.
appealing.
They have the best cars. They have fresh clothes. Their merch looks like good streetwear clothes. Like it's not like they
I
do a
just
bad job designing their
Phase to
stuff.
me will never not be a parent's worst nightmare.
Fair enough.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to get bogged
I
down
just
on my
think
Phase opinions,
with
but I
them
just,
having that type of valuation without having a franchise spot speaks volume.
of
Because
course.
tomorrow, if Envy loses,
Well, they got like
if
Lil Yachty as a
if
like they have.
Overwatch sucks, right? Let's say Overwatch ends up tanking. Now all that money that Fuel has now dumped into Overwatch becomes wasted. I mean,
Right.
ultimately, right? Like there's not going to be much
We
there
we
if the
said
game.
this back in our Phase discussion with Tfue and Phase, right? Because I don't think for listeners of the show, I don't think it's like a secret. I'm not like a huge Phase fan, just from even just a personal standpoint, right? Not a huge fan of them, but they make it cool to be like part of Phase. Like
They make
all
esports, they make gaming cool,
they view
don't
all
they?
their fans. But that's the other thing, right? Like they do really well is that whether you are, I'm going to say Tfue because he's the only person I recognize with them, right? But if whether you are a streamer for them or just a dude who bought a FaZe t-shirt, like that group views you all part of FaZe clan, right?
Yeah,
That's one thing that I think they do really well is making you feel a part of that org, even as just a fan. You
it's
feel
a
like you're a
community.
part of it.
They
Yeah,
did a really good job building that community. That's again kind of similar to Cloud9, right? Cloud9, although they have an LCS spot and an Overwatch spot, um, it's a very large fanboy community. I think you can build off of these. I feel like a lot of
the
this
difference is
list.
FaZe was built on being cool. Cloud9 was based off of memes. Just memes. So you have that. Now up next at 5. This was I think a big one, and I don't think a surprise to anyone. I'm almost surprised that they're number 5 and not higher up. Immortals Gaming Club. Of course, that falls under Immortals, obviously. Optic Gaming, newly acquired. LA Valiant, MIBR, and just everything else there. So this
Well,
is
and they
what
have three franchise spots, if I'm not mistaken, right? They have
LCS.
LCS, Overwatch League, and Call of Duty.
Yep.
Three really good spots to be in, and then you can have one kind of suffer a little bit because you got two large ones behind you. I think I'm more surprised that they're half the value of some of these other ones, right? Like they have a $210 million evaluation, eh, and then you look at like
And that's a
Cloud9
big jump.
at
Even from like
400.
1 to 5, like you mentioned, is like a $200 million difference.
Yeah, it's half.
Yeah.
It's literally half
Significant.
of what it is. But yet, I think Immortals to me has a lot going for them. Almost like I said, Cloud9 is as big as they are because of who they are. I think Immortals has, in my mind, more going for them in the long run with having all these different franchising spots.
Yeah.
Um, they
Almost the
invest
exact
heavily in them.
opposite of FaZe.
Well, and
Like
they bought, Optic is a great brand to own. Now, what they're doing with it and how they're managing it, that's another story. We'll see how that ultimately turns out. But they've invested in the right groups. Even MIBR within the CS:GO scene. I mean, when they took over
you
MIBR,
have
that
that
was
Brazilian scene, man. If you have the
massive.
if you own if the Brazilians are your fan, then that's half the battle, right?
And they
But
own Brazil with Immortals and MIBR.
yeah, but it is interesting just from a standpoint of the majority of their uh, ownership, I guess, assets are all in franchise leagues. Like
Yeah.
they really are adopting and banking on this new esports model of franchised leagues as opposed to FaZe Clan, which clearly is not. Like they're not on board with anything. In fact, FaZe Clan is the only one. Let's see here. Before I stick my foot in it, I believe FaZe Clan is the only org on this list that does not have a single franchise team in LCS and League, Call of Duty,
Really,
Overwatch, anything like that.
it's pretty
They're the
impressive to
only
have
one
that type
without
of
it.
valuation when you don't have a $30 million slot tied to you, right?
Right.
Like you're truly driving this based on your popularity, your merchandising, and the company. Like they just partnered with Champion not that long ago. Like there's like really big partnerships for them. Yeah, super super impressive. And I think number 6 on this list impresses me quite a bit too because the rise that they've taken just over the past couple of years is pretty unprecedented, and that's
You
Gen
don't
G.
see them. Like you don't
No,
see that name very often.
because you have to associate them with some of their franchising spots, right? They have the League of Legends team as well as Overwatch
Soul
League
Dynasty.
being Soul Dynasty, so they're not necessarily embedded in U.S. culture, and I think that's what's driving this valuation is they own a lot of the Asian market because they are Korean based. They have they're China based for the Overwatch League and even NBA 2K League. They're the team Shanghai over there, if I'm not mistaken. So for them to they found a niche that works for them is basically what
Yeah.
I'm seeing here is they understand the Asian market really well. Um, they basically double their valuation from one year to the next. I think a lot of that has to do with Overwatch League. Um, but again, I find that to be very impressive because it's just not an org you hear a ton about here. Like they don't talk about Gen G the way they talk about FaZe, the way they talk about teams behind them on the list. Number 7, I thought this team would actually be higher, and that's Fnatic. Fnatic to me, I was surprised did not have a higher valuation because you
I think
tell me the
5 years
name.
ago they would have been 5 years ago. I think you would have seen them in the top 5, maybe
Were
top
they just
3.
like did they peak a little too early in this industry? They're
I
obviously still
well,
doing really well. Don't get me
I
wrong. This is not to
yep,
say that they're
I mean, yeah,
falling.
number 7, worth 175 million. They're doing just fine. I think Fnatic is one of those teams that, to no fault of their own, they're just kind of at the wrong part of the world. Like a lot of these organizations ahead of them are American. In fact, all of them apart from Gen G. This is the first European org that we're seeing on this list, right? So I think that's probably just saying something in itself that the
Europe
European
sucks.
side,
It's a
you lost the
terrible
war,
country. Terrible.
you can't have a team.
Yeah. No,
No, but
you're right
I
though.
do
Like
think
it's
that has something to do with it.
well, I think part of it is they also are heavily invested into CS:GO, and CS:GO is not a cash cow. CS:GO is a money
Yeah,
pit more than
that's very
anything,
true.
right? And your biggest brand for Fnatic, out obviously being in the LEC under the Fnatic title is really big, and that's a big boost for them in their overall valuation. But Counter Strike, guys, Counter Strike is not a money maker. Counter Strike helps you
No.
with branding. Counter Strike helps you with visibility because it
Fan
is one of the
base.
yeah, like all of that stuff. So it helps you in other areas. But in terms of actually making money just off of what the team is doing, the prize money is going to the players. The players, in my mind, I say overpaid. I'm going to get beat on for saying that, so I probably should change that wording. But Counter Strike players are paid very well. Okay, the minimum that you see in Overwatch League at 50K is what I'm sure some MDL players could even ask for as a first contract going on to a tier one team. I
Right.
mean, like, um, I just think Counter Strike's not a great investment personally, and that's why you see majority of this list, they're gonna have some franchise league teams on there. Unless you're heavy on the merchandising side, it's very difficult to get on a list like this without owning spots that you can roughly charge 20 to 30 million dollars for should you want to bail out.
Yeah. Yep. Number 8, we go right back to the American side of it. Really, this should be number 1, easily, in my opinion.
In our hearts.
As, of course, Dallas's own friend of the show, Envy Gaming, comes in at number 8, 170 million. Change from last year, 75 million. They have also put in the work, but like Anuj has been saying, they also have 2 franchise spots. So yes, look from a year ago, you have 2 franchise spots. Definitely taking on, more of the. I think this is my opinion, is that what Envy does very well is kind of keep it a business, right?
Yeah.
Like they really treat it as a business. They don't get into games just for the sake of getting into them. They make very smart decisions, sometimes
Counter-Strike's
slow,
the perfect example, right, Tim?
sometimes slow, but in the end, it's all financially sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can tell exactly with them that they are focusing on the business side of this because CS:GO, for those of you that don't remember, Envy won a major in Counter-Strike just a handful of
They
years ago. I
controlled
mean,
French CS:GO.
yeah, French CS:GO was Envy. Like it was synonymous with one another. They slowly found their way basically out of Counter-Strike. I understand, yes, they have a team, not a competitive team, right? Like
Right.
they're not competitive in Counter Strike. I don't think anybody would say it. I don't think if they're listening, they would be upset at us for saying it. They're not competitive in Counter Strike.
But they're trying to be.
Kind of, right?
They're not losing focus on the roster though.
They're not really building the roster to be a competitive roster, I don't think, though. Like, I mean, I don't see how we could say they are trying to be heavily competitive in Counter Strike when the players that they currently have on the team outside of Nifty are no names to a majority of the scene. Som, okay, yes, he's got some branding behind him. A Fugly, Android, and who the hell is Ryan? Ryan has to use his first name so he's recognized as his gamer tag. So again, I don't think they have any focus whatsoever. We've talked to Mike about this.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, because he
they
knows
want
though,
to be
right?
they want to be good at Counter Strike. I think Mike Rufael, owner of Envy, I think he really and is passionate about Counter Strike. But to Tim's point, it's not the best business interest, and they focus heavily on, hey, this is not about just let me do what the fans want. It's got to be a sound financial decision. Look at the complexity. Complexity for everything that they have is not on this list, right? They're backed by the Dallas Cowboys. They have the gaming center over here. They dumped a ton of money into their Counter-Strike team. They're in the mobile game industry, which is supposed to be the next big market, right? But
That's
yet
what they tell us.
Envy can't or complexity can't break top 12 on the list, right? And they have everything. They have everything that you would possibly need to be good. And their biggest focus is what? Counter-Strike. I think Envy's onto something here. And again, I love Counter-Strike. It's my favorite esport. I'll follow it till the day it's gone. Hopefully that never happens. But we're seeing a trend, people. You're seeing a trend as we go through this list. It's the teams with either franchising spots or badass merch. And that's who's making the top 12 here. Um, so yeah,
Num-
I think Envy has the right formula. I think better off Envy is just built properly from the ground up.
right.
Envy has not only the right people, they've hired the right minds, they have the right focus. They got and they're not even that good. Like they're not even good at Overwatch. That's the
No,
scary part.
that is you are correct. This is like the one team that's so far on the list where it's just like out of everything, Empire is obviously to be decided, but they're not
They
the
weren't great
best
in
in
COD
any
last
of their
year.
games.
They're not good at all at Overwatch, right? Like as of right now, Envy is a bottom 5 team in the league for the last 2 years, basically. Um, so it's again, it shows that it's a business first. If you do everything else right, you can make it happen. Now, it's not to say
You
Envy's not
don't
trying to be
need to
good.
be and I think that's another thing why these franchises also weigh so much value, right? It's like you don't have to be the number one team to have some value. You have a franchise spot, which speaks again. Time will tell. These teams could also quickly turn around and be the top 12 poorest esports teams if these franchise leagues don't work out, right?
You,
And then
what's funny, Tim,
FaZe
is
is
we're
just
talking about
laughing
this.
to everyone.
Yeah, FaZe is sitting there like, hey, we'll just keep selling sweaters and we're good. It's funny because I just thought of this as I was looking at it. It was like, this is number 8 being Envy Gaming. You don't even really hear Envy anymore. And we all
No,
were concerned about, oh man, how is Overwatch? How are you making people not use their branding? Like, what a terrible idea. Oh God, Call of Duty, you can't use like Envy, you can't use Optic. This shows that shit doesn't matter, right? Like that
no,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't.
There's
People are
nothing
getting
tied to
hyped just
Envy.
as much for player signings for the CDL.
Yeah, that was the biggest part, right? Nobody looked at like, oh, Dallas Empire,
Why do
that's
I
not
care
my
about
Envy
them, right?
gaming,
No, everyone's like, Clayster, Crimsix. Like, what? You got me there. Like,
In
that's,
fact, it's almost the opposite in CDL because Optic got to keep their branding,
and everyone
and they're the
hates them.
ones getting like, oh, I don't want to look at Optic. So it's not necessarily the brand loyalty in terms of just like Envy gaming. Envy is, I think, very unique on this list the way that they've done it because they truly run it like a multi-billion-dollar business, and
Yeah.
so
They
um
play it very close to the belt, but smartly. Real quick, we'll jump through some of these.
do number
Uh,
9 because I think 9 is an important one here. 9 being G2.
at
What are they valued at here?
165.
G2, I think, is just big because they're winners. Like that's almost the polar opposite of Envy. G2 obviously has a huge brand following. Also, they have their franchise spots in League of Legends, which they'll be competing this weekend for the championship. Um, but G2 and winning kind of goes hand in hand. Like I don't feel like G2 is really ever bad at anything that they're in for the most part. You start looking at like Rainbow Six, dominant, right?
Right.
CS:GO, they've been dominant and they're still a good team. They might not be the best team right now, but still a very good team. League,
Relevant, anyways.
dominant. Yeah, like so they find a way to just like they're winners. And on top of that, they've done a good job obviously with branding, but
Oh yeah, I
what
was
they
gonna say
have.
they've also do a good job. Their social media, I think, also does a really well job of connecting that fan base. Number 10, this one is new. Very impressive considering how young this organization is, but not surprising to see them on this list. That's 100 Thieves. Despite having the worst organization name in all of esports, I
You don't like
still
it?
do not like it. I still
What
don't
is the
like
meaning
it.
behind it? Do we know that?
No, I don't know. Probably Nate just thought it was cool. I don't know. I'm gonna make one called 1,000 Thieves.
Look, their merch is fire. Okay, that's a fact. Like their merch is
But even the brand,
really.
It's so weird.
Huh?
Their merch looks legit, but like that little 100 Thieves, and it looks like someone like scratched it with a pen. I
Yeah,
hate
I
it.
mean, the merch for them, I think, is their first priority. They're a streetwear brand first and
Of
foremost. They
course.
happen to have a League of
And that's why
Legends
they're on this
slot, but
list, right?
yeah,
They're focusing on the brand, they're focusing on the merch. They have investors like no one's business, right? Like because they also look cool. Nate Shot is very likable. He's very approachable for these celebrities going up to him.
big content creators on that team. So they're more content creation than anything. They run
Yep.
their own podcast, which you should never listen to
Don't.
because you got us
Trash.
here. But
Trash
yeah,
podcast.
they don't compete in anything. They're in League of Legends, they're in Counter Strike, and
Newly
they're
in Counter-Strike.
newly in Counter Strike. Yeah, like literally 2 days ago type of thing in Counter Strike. And then in Fortnite, although I can't think of who their, I guess Courage is their Fortnite player.
I don't know.
I'm
But
drawing a blank.
Courage is under
Again,
that brand.
but that just
Which, by the
shows
way,
that
the cringiest video ever.
the move video.
That was terrible. For being a
Yeah,
brand that's focused on content creation, everyone should be fired for that Courage video.
yeah, I did. But they do a good job. I feel over as a whole.
Of
Obviously, this
course, yeah.
shows it.
As a whole.
You know what's interesting to me looking at 100 Thieves, Tim, is the change from 2018 to now. Well, 100 Thieves was established in 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
I
they've
don't.
been around though. Like, if you look, I remember years ago that 100 Thieves, like Nate Shot has talked about that team for a while. I just think it's like recently they've really, yeah, see, they founded in 2016.
Okay.
I remember seeing them and hearing about them, starting this podcast, but it's just recently is like when Drake got involved and all these other, big name celebrities were getting involved. And that's kind of what's really, I think, jumped them and put them up on the map. And again, we talked a little bit about this in the car ride to the airport at BlizzCon. All these content creation guys, they all buy for the most, don't get me wrong, they have a fan base, but a lot of it is just bought fan base, right? You buy the one content creator, you buy that one streamer who's got 40,000 viewers. He's repping 100 Thieves gear. All of his followers are going to start repping it, and instantly you look like you got swag. FaZe could instantly go and buy out Courage right now if they wanted to. Courage would instantly wear everything FaZe, and it's a cyclical cycle, but
FaZe targets certain people though, right? That fit their persona.
Yeah, I mean they target.
Does Courage seem like the FaZe guy to you?
No.
No.
Not at all.
That'd be like Barney
Not at all.
going to the
FaZe
hip-hop
targets
awards,
people who are borderline belong in juvie.
Well, that's what they try to
That's
do.
what
though,
they
I
go
feel.
for, right?
Yeah.
I understand that's the appeal to FaZe, and I completely understand that's why I'm not their target market. All right, middle-aged white dad with a mustache and poofy hair, not wearing a Lions King t-shirt, not your target market on FaZe. It's just, it is what it is. They're like the number 3. So what? Don't take my advice, FaZe. Even though I do have the number 1 esports podcast. So Forbes, hit us up the next article you write about podcasts. All right. Number 11. I think this is probably recently acquired spot by NRG Esports, valued at $150 million. They were not even ranked in this top 10 last year.
They're gonna jump to top 5 next year.
Yeah, with
They're
Chicago
gonna see a
Huntsmen.
jump. Yeah. Successful Overwatch team. You're looking at the former, like the champions from the latest Overwatch League. They're gonna have a great team, I would assume, in CDL. And I think bringing Hex on board is also a big win for them to have somebody like
and also
him.
look at who's in charge. Hex and Andy Miller. Andy
Yeah.
Miller, you have the business mindset behind it. Hex, you have almost
the
like
branding.
the secret
Hex
weapon.
is a brand. Hex is a brand in itself, right?
Right.
Like
But
Hex
he's
tweets
also
out
business. It's not like he's bad at business unless it's
the optic sale
optic,
probably
would
didn't
just
look that great.
just
But
why
he
don't you
still
just
walked out.
sweep that
He
under.
walked
Well,
out great in
he
that
walked
deal,
out great. It's just optic didn't fare so well.
Yeah.
Maybe that even looks better on his resume, right? Like, look, I sold this team and then it went under.
Now it
What's up?
sucks. Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, no. I think they'll only grow. I mean, dude, for them, merchandise was not a big seller, I would assume, prior
Right.
to Hector coming on board. Now Hector tweets out, "Hey guys, I have this hoodie, limited edition. No picture of the hoodie. Pre-order it for $60 and you'll get it." They sold.
And
I
was it
mean,
a
what was the
Chicago
number that we
Huntsman?
heard? No, it's like it's a NRG, I think, branded one. I don't even
Boy,
know what
wouldn't
it
it have
looks
been
like.
funny? Wouldn't it have been funny if it was the Huntsman hoodies that they ordered in bulk, realize the logo sucks, and then Hex is like, I will sell these.
I got
Don't
this.
you worry.
I got this. Let's sell it and not show what it looks
Just
like.
don't show it. Don't show the brand. Number 12, to me a little surprising, but it fits the theme of the list. Like, it's weird. We went from 1 to 12. If we went from 12 to 1, it would have been really confusing, which is why we started from the top and went to the bottom. Because at number 12, at 120 million, Misfits Gaming,
With
their
8 million in
estimated
revenue.
8 million.
It's crazy. It's the franchise spots though. Misfits is only built on franchise slots.
Yeah.
They got the LEC slot, they got the Overwatch League, and they got the CDL.
They used to be in Counter-Strike. Do you remember that?
Yep. Not anymore. They had Sean Gears on the team and Freakazoid and all these
Hiko,
guys.
right? Wasn't Hiko on
Yeah,
that team?
I mean they had like big name people.
Yeah. They
on the
made a
team, you know,
push. They made
Yeah,
a
they did.
push.
But for
and
them,
obviously,
their model is franchising.
yep.
They saw it, they jumped in, and now they're worth 120 million. And let's not forget Marvel versus Capcom, obviously.
I mean, that's a
probably
huge
for them.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be
In the 10s or
6.3
20s.
mil from their revenue. So, yeah, that again, if we started at number 12, that would have been really confusing. But starting with number 1 and you see the trend and it's franchising, and I understand franchising in esports gets a bad rap from a lot of people. I think, not to speak for a Nuge, but historically on this show, I think we're pro-franchise, typically. We're not anti-franchise.
I don't want to see it in like Counter-Strike, for example, but the
I don't
games
think
that I
it's
am
I don't think it's the only way, but I definitely
Yeah.
think it's a way that can work out.
I think it was right for Call of Duty. I think it was perfect for Call of Duty personally. I think that's a better model for them than what Call of Duty was previously doing. And I also think it's right for Overwatch because I think Overwatch would be a little bit of a mess right now if it was just everybody create a team. Somehow let's figure out how to create leagues. If they tried to go the Counter-Strike way, I think Overwatch would be a dead game in my mind. So
Yeah.
I think franchising is great for the people that are currently doing it.
In almost like a bad good way, it forces these organizations to commit to the game. You
Yeah.
can't, for example, we just mentioned it with Misfits. They tried pushing into Counter-Strike years ago. Didn't really go anywhere on the NA side. I think they might have been in ECL like for 1 or 2 seasons, never really went anywhere. They backed out of Counter-Strike, and it's been a dead game to them ever since. Well, even if that owner never picks up and plays Overwatch ever again or watches a single match ever again, he's locked in $20 million to that league. So you better believe he's going to be committed to it.
He's not walking away.
So whether that's a good or a bad thing, I guess time will tell, right? Is it ethical? He did it. He knows it. So I think that's where you could say it's a smart decision from both sides of the party, right? It can work out for both. And then tied for 12th at 120 million, estimated revenue, 5 million. Last but not least, Overactive Media. And if you're asking yourself who the hell is Overactive Media, there's a reason you've never heard of them. Because they're primarily only in franchise spots as well, and it's the parent company behind Splice, behind Toronto Defiant, and now behind Toronto Ultra, the Call of Duty team.
Yep.
Again, very young esports company, purely built off of investors.
That's
Like
exactly what it is. They came in
100%
and
built off of investors. And this is where I think this type of company rubs a lot of people wrong in the esports world, because you go to the page, you look at the people, they're in suits and they don't look like they're esports, right?
it's
And so
not
you
your
look,
micro fails or your Hectors kind of
yeah.
personalities, right? They run the business and it shows. Like it's a business for them.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it's pretty
how
clear.
did these guys get away with it, but then other companies like American Esports, whatever the hell that place was that lasted one tweet before getting absolutely buried, make it? I guess you buy out 3 franchise spots. And then you're in it. It doesn't matter what
Yeah,
people
you're
say
not
about
going
you.
anywhere.
Right. People can say whatever they want
And they don't
about
have
you.
a bad rap, in terms of like the
No.
franchise teams, right? The franchise teams are all well liked
But
within
I
their
think that's the
respective
best
game.
way to get into it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You want to put your money where your mouth is. Well, this is it. That's how you do it, right? You commit. And I think what also they do really well is that they've committed to the city of Toronto,
They
which,
kept it all in house, one place, kind of
yeah,
like Envy is doing with Dallas.
right, yep. They're
Yeah,
keeping it all to based off of one city, which definitely I think fans notice that, right? I think for a lot of, speaking of like for Fuel fans, right? The Overwatch and Call of Duty community definitely are not the same. Like maybe
really?
1% crossover. Those are very two different groups of people. But I bet you do have some people who are just a fan of the Fuel will watch and cheer for Empire now, even though Empire, I promise you, are going to be marketed 100% completely different. It's
Yeah.
just that's another thing with these franchise do, and that's why these guys are valued as much as they are, because one or two, you have 2 franchise spots. Well, that's really helping out both of your franchise spots, because it's creating that fan base inside of what is already a valued ecosystem. So, very interesting article, I think, from Forbes. Um, all we hear about is the esports being worth millions and billions of dollars, but at the same time, it's a bubble that's bound to be popped. Mark Cuban saying how dumb of a decision it is to own a team in America, and yet, here's 12 examples of they're finding ways to have revenue and be worth 100 million, $300 million.
And a lot of this is the venture capitalist money that's getting pumped in. I feel like every other day
Yeah.
I'm seeing something like, oh, 100 Thieves raised 25 million today, for Series A funding or whatever, and so um there's just a lot of money getting thrown into it. But I do agree that there's a bubble. I don't think it's going to crash necessarily, and all of a sudden a $400 million valuation drops to 50 million. But I do think there'll be some leveling out that we see over the next,
Like
year
I
or
said,
so.
the
And
teams that you kind of want to worry about are the ones outside of this list,
yeah,
like Complexity, right? For a team from the outside, you think, how the hell are you not top 12? Like, you have
you
the
have
training
everything.
facility of the best training facility out there. You're partnered with the Cowboys. Your owner tweets out, big dick tweets saying, yo, you want it, come get it. Like, I'm kicking everyone off my team. I'm signing new people. Let's go. And yet, like, you're saying you're a tier 1 org, and yet you're not top 12.
And
A
again,
little
this is
interesting.
tied to they don't have any franchise spots, at least that I could think of off the top of my head. Um, and their focus is heavily on Counter Strike, so that could be one of the issues.
Yeah. I think we've seen a trend here today, Anuj, and I'm glad that we were able to do it together. Let's do e-news together, shall we?
We shall.
Not a whole lot to get to, though. Not a lot has happened since Monday. We've teased about it throughout the show, but CSGO, Cloud9 is to skip DreamHack Atlanta. What? Why would they ever do that? Well, there's also the rumors that Gen G is in discussion with Cloud9 players and ships to buy out that roster.
How devastated would you be if Cloud9 walked away from Counter Strike?
It would be weird. From a Cloud9 fan, I would be distraught because even though, like, yeah, they won the major and that was like obviously I was on cloud nine. uh but even at their worst, you still rooted for them. Like, I still felt like that cloud nine fanboy in you never really gave up hope. Like, very much like the Lions in me, right? Like, I'm from Detroit and I love the Lions unconditionally. It was the same thing for Cloud9, but to see if they give up on Counter-Strike when their fans haven't given up, it would be very weird. I would also feel the worst for Automatic for having to go through that shit show of a roster, just wasting a year of his career for then the org to be like, well, this isn't working out. This isn't working out. We're done here. We have too much going on with our other stuff.
I'm looking for Automatic to find another team anyway. I think he needs to do that, and Cloud9 just needs to rebuild or walk away, because putting out a crap product like they have over the past year
at this
not
point
good for the brand.
Cloud9 needs to step away and then just save up and throw your wallet at some team that pops out of nowhere, like 100 Thieves did.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do, because this fill a player here and there and take a player from this team and put him over there, and it's not working out. It's not. You've tried it for a year.
And
it's not working out.
That method's not going to work, to just replace one bad player with another average player. Like, it's just that's not how it's going to be successful for them. I get it. They're pretty committed to Automatic, and it's just sad that they haven't been able to build around him. So yeah, I do think they need to step back, reset, and if they want to come in, wait for the right time. But what they're doing isn't working.
Yep. League of Legends this, I think, Saturday, right?
Yeah. The 10th.
When is that? Oh, that's Sunday. November 10th, the finals are happening. G2 versus Fun plus Phoenix. Both teams that I did not have money on making it. Will take place as one of the biggest events in esports takes place. The League of Legends World Finals. They're saying we hit over 4 million in the semis. Will we break that for the finals?
I don't think we will.
You don't think?
No, I think the teams that were involved in the semis are like
the reason
massive names, and I don't think it's gonna plummet. I think these are, G2 is huge, like we've just recently talked about, but I don't think we'll exceed that number in the finals. Yeah, the time is weird. It's like 6 a.m. our time.
Well, 6 a.m. our time, yeah, because they're in Paris, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty, it's been out for 2 weeks. It seems like every week it gets worse and worse as far as the peanut gallery is concerned. Pros have given up even trying to play pug matches. Streamers are giving up on the game already. Listen, I know they're not playing in the Pro League, and I know there is a casual player base for this game, but my God, you have people invested millions of dollars into this league. You gotta do something.
Doesn't the casual game suck right now, in your opinion? Also, though,
it's terrible.
I don't think it's fun. I do not think it's a fun game right now. I am still playing it. That's the crazy part. I'm still playing this game.
I'm forcing myself though to play it.
Part of it is it's cross play. So now I'm finally getting to play with some friends at work and outside that I haven't been able to play games with because they're PS4, Xbox. So we have all grouped up and started playing together. Man, I hate the damn game right now. I think the shotguns are in a terrible place. I think the maps are complete trash. Spawn points are not good. Way too much camping. They built this game for the casual player, not thinking about the competitive side, in my mind, at all, which I'm completely floored about.
The year that your league, your official franchise league is starting, you pick the developer and the game. And that's the funny thing is, before this came out, everyone said the same thing. Like, this is it. This is the one they care about.
Yeah, this is the one they're going to get right because you felt like they had to prepare for the league. Oh my God, I miss Black Ops 4 so much, and I talked so much trash about that game.
Makes you miss it,
right? Oh, it's
so much
better. It's not even close in my mind.
No. And apparently they were going to bring back old maps and everything, but we'll, again, win. This needs to happen now. I will say this, though. It does make me want to get custom 10-mans going. So if you do play Call of Duty on PC, Xbox, whatever, hit us up on Twitter or in Discord. I would love to set up a night, whether it be a weekday or a weekend, preferably a weekend night, where we can get together with some listeners. Team Tim versus Team Anuj. Let's make it happen. We're just going to have a fun game and night. The winning team, I don't know, talk shit.
That's good enough. I'm happy with that.
Good enough for me. So it will be fun, though. I think let's get a community night, Team Tim versus Team Anuj going for Call of Duty. You don't have to be good either, because I don't think I'm very good at this one.
I don't feel it either.
I normally
I'm
dominate.
average. I feel like when we played Black Ops, like we would go in and it felt pretty easy to,
I would
like,
laugh
be
at
top of the
people.
list. Now I try to play this the way I've played other CODs, and it's like, oh, I should probably just get in a window and hold it.
I feel like my child is ruining my gaming skills.
It's the game that's ruining it.
Makes me feel better. This was going to be a topic in itself, but FaZe Jarvis banned from Fortnite for life for using aimbot.
Thoughts? Agree, disagree. Let's just start with that simple answer.
100% agree.
You think the lifetime ban is warranted?
I think life is a bit dramatic, but I also think he's a douche. I don't care that he's 17. Here's the thing. When you go and watch the video that he was cheating in, like, he made it specifically, and it wasn't like an educational video, right? Like, he was laughing about it the whole time, saying like, oh, man, we're going to get banned, mate. Hey, I'm in FaZe. That almost like was like, yeah, no, you can be banned for life now. Thank you. Banned for life.
I think for me, life is a little much. However, I do think it should have been a really strict ban, 2 to 3 years. Like something that's going to make it uncomfortably painful for him.
Right.
He's not going to be able to monetize it. The only reason I can't say lifetime ban is I'm so against what Valve did to IBP, iBuyPower. I'm very against that still, and I still want to see those players have an opportunity to compete again. And the excuse we use is, well, they were like really young. Counter-Strike was like new, and in the sense of global offensive was like new, and you know, they weren't getting paid a lot. Now the difference here is Jarvis is making a ton of money, like in the millions, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's made a lot of money. I think a lifetime ban is harsh, but I think a 2 to 3 year ban would have been better for the simple reason.
Lifetime is just
too much.
At the end of the day, bros, we're playing video games. All right, we're playing video games. Let's just have fun, right?
And cheating's not fun. I mean,
hacking is part of it, right? You get hackers and everything, so that's why I think a ban is appropriate. Lifetime ban seems a bit dramatic for anything. Like, he didn't murder anyone to completely kick him off the game, but at the same time, I'm not going to go combat for him, right? Like, you definitely knew, like, he tried playing it dumb in his apology, saying that, you know, oh, I didn't know.
I should have read the terms and services more, like,
crikey, I didn't know that it was illegal. And it's like, bro, but then you go watch the video and him and his buddy are just laughing the whole time about being banned. Like,
and granted, this was not, you know, the one saving grace that I think the reason it should be reduced is it wasn't in a competitive game.
Right. It was just for content creation.
It really was for content creation. Still,
but
everybody knows.
Can we also give props to Epic for not? They're saying that they're not going to back down. It's going to be for life. Won't be overturned. Like, I appreciate the fact that they're sticking to their guns and setting an example, because this kid is 17. His listeners or his viewers are probably, like, if you're doing the math, 5 years old. So I can only assume if you play Fortnite and a FaZe clan, you're like a 5-year-old. So, like, right there, to set that example, because, like, if he gets off easy, then his, you know, like, who knows? Like, he wasn't doing it in a match, but, like, his fan base, and with Overwatch, and here's the thing with, like, the open seasons and everything, like, all he has to do is influence, what, 1% of his fan base to think it's funny to cheat, and that completely ruins everything. So
no, I agree.
Like I
said, I'm not against the ban. I think I'm against the duration of the ban, although I still wanted it to be stiff. Like a 2 to 3 year ban in my mind is
Yeah.
a very long ban because who knows if this damn game is going to be around until then. So
That's right.
yeah, that's pretty tough though. That's
Yeah.
a tough pill to swallow if you're him.
That's a tough one, pal.
Yeah.
And one last note here. We mentioned it before. Juked.gg. It's a new website. They're not really. This is free. All right. No free ad, but this one's free. Go check them out. You don't need an account anymore. They're out of beta. They will just make your esports life easier. I use it. I think we're gonna have Ben, one of the owners, founding members. There you go. He's one of the founders of Juked. I think we'll have him on Monday.
Look,
Either Monday or Wednesday.
them at this point, we need to work something out here.
I mean, like I'm saying, dude, like this is free here. We just like the website. So, but it is open to the public. So go to our Twitter at the Center Ring. We tweeted out about it, so you could go there. It's nice. It will make your life a tad easier while watching esports. But that will just about do it for this episode of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 189. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Whether you skipped around or listened to the whole darn thing, we love you all the same. I am serious. I would love to get community night going for Call of Duty. So if you play it on any platform, let us know. Team Tim versus Team Anuj. I call our listener Tavik. He can be on my team.
That's not fair. Okay, then I get Hazmat.
You can have Hazmat. You take Hazmat Pete. I'll take Tavik.
All right. That works.
Hazmat's an Optic fan, so we wouldn't get along.
Yeah, y'all wouldn't. But I know he would come for your throat based on the comments you made on the show.
Right. That's right. He would come gunning for sure. So let's make that happen. I think it would be a lot of fun. We will be back next Monday. Like I said, maybe some guests. Monday, the big one, our CDL branding tier list episode. Everyone's been waiting for it. We will finally do it on Monday. So keep aware of that. Follow us on Twitch. You can see that live. But I'm Tim for Anuj. We'll see ya.